Welcome, heathens and witches, to the Horn
and Cauldron
podcast pub chat edition because of the bevs. I'm John Norgrove. This is Julie Norgrove. This is our once weekly witchy podcast where on the on weeks we do deep dive research topics where Julie is in charge, and in the off weeks we do pub chats where there's significantly more drinking and I'm in charge, which means that it's chaos. Because I don't do research and there's no script and the points don't matter, or whatever that line is.
Oh, I loved that show.
It was great for a very long time.
The original, like the British version of the show.
Oh,
the British
the
guy?
Jim Carrey one was good too. Jim Carrey? Not Jim Carrey.
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey. I knew it was one of those things.
Fine,
was right.
But it was missing the dry British humor that like really sold it for me.
Oh, sure.
Like it was still good. Like I'm not hating on Drew Carey.
Oh my god, I forget what the
Nigel
regulars
was
were.
the British guy.
Nigel's the British guy. Yeah. I mean,
wow, I can't believe
good.
I pulled that. That came out of the depths.
Yeah. Anywho, we're basically that, but not at all in any way, shape, or form.
And also not funny.
We're not funny?
No, I'm hilarious.
I don't fucking know about that. Today's topic, first of all, I had a tremendous difficulty coming up with the topic for this particular day, but inevitably it all worked out. And so what I thought of, while I was doing like work at home, like horror movies were on in the background, and I was listening to a horror book, right? And they're like, it's like the end of the book. I'm not going to tell you anything about that, but they're like solving the problem in the book. While that's happening, I'm watching like a ghosts haunting sort of a thing on TV, and they are barely resolving the ghosts problem, right? And it made me wonder, it made me think about specifically like horror movie resolutions to spooky stuff. And so what I'm going to frame this thesis statement is how to deal with ghosts and other spooky stuff, horror movie edition. So what I kind of want to do is talk about some like horror movies and how they deal with that stuff as an example, right? And to start the conversation off, so grab yourself a bev and be prepared.
What are you drinking tonight?
Single malt whiskey.
Is it the Glenmorangie?
It's the Glenmorangie that you got
Nice.
me. I think it's 12-year-old Glenmorangie. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's just a cup with whiskey. No ice, no rocks, nothing. Just whiskey.
Yes.
The correct way to drink.
Yes.
What are you drinking?
I have a port from Corbel.
Ah, port.
In these like fancy, cool, like
they're like blood
red vampire glasses. I'm so into them.
Those are. Wait, what brand were those? It was like
Avon.
Avon, yeah. It's like the Avon like blood red vampire set. Yeah, because we saw them somewhere.
We saw them in like a reel, and I was like, "This is really
we like
cool."
saw them online.
And then you secretly bought them for me, and they just showed up, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah. I was able to find a set at like a really good price online because it comes in the larger goblet size and then like a smaller.
Yeah,
dessert
technically
wine
you
size.
would drink port out of the smaller goblet size, but
drink more.
I would rather have a full glass of port.
So last night we watched
WNUF Halloween special.
Yeah, the WNUF Halloween special, where there's like so
this is a movie.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's put together in like a VHS tape that recorded the Halloween special in like 1985 or whatever. 82 or whatever. So it's got like commercials and it's got like news stuff and it's got like other programs, like they've been reusing the tape a bunch and that sort of stuff. So it's hilarious. And like good horror movie stuff.
Yeah, it's got like spooky stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also like fun and it's like funny.
There's a lot of like humor in it. The commercials are very, very funny. There's a commercial specifically about calling a electrical company, and they're like, whatever, call such and such electrical company. We're gonna solve your problems. Like we're the best. And like the first like clip of somebody doing work is a dude sweating copper pipes together. A plumber's job. Which is just like fully insane. Like it's like little stuff like that.
It takes place in I think 1987 actually.
Oh, was it 87? I thought it was early 80s
as a kid
for some
growing
reason.
up in the 80s, let me tell you what, if you want to know what it was like to watch TV in the 80s, it's this.
It's
This
for sure,
movie.
for sure.
I remember commercials like this. I remember specials like this. I remember watching stuff like this.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's so good too. But
Yeah.
okay, so they have like a haunted house that they're going into, and they've got like
they've got like a medium
they got like a medium couple that's gonna like,
as opposed to a large couple.
yeah, right.
I'll see myself out.
Going to like save them, or to like look into the house or whatever. They bring like a priest who's gonna like save the day or whatever. And of course, like as the stuff unfolds, right, they're hoping that the priest can perform an exorcism to resolve the problem. Which brings us to our first like stopping point, which is like this, The Exorcist, a bunch of movies, right? There's that dope one where demons are like, they're using like science to like dive into people's minds and exorcise the demon from within your mind.
Yeah.
It's like halfway between The Exorcist and what's that one with Jennifer Lopez where she goes
The Cell. I think this movie it's either Aaron Eckhart or Thomas Jane, because I
think it is Aaron Eckhart. Yeah.
Two-Face.
Yeah. Okay, so it is Aaron Eckhart. Yeah, he's really good in it too. But so like in a movie, you often see like the default answer is doing the what you call it, church kicking it out.
An exorcism.
Yes. Right? And to that end, like, there is some historical evidence of, like, I mean, there is, like, absolutely historical evidence
There's a ton of historical
evidence
of
exorcisms. And there's, like, stories about, there's actually a horror movie about one of the, like, guys who was, like, one of the biggest exorcism guys in, like, church's history and stuff like that. But also, an exorcism is, like, primarily for bad ghosts.
Yes.
Right? So, like, I feel like maybe a torture. I wonder, my thing with the exorcism, first of all, you gotta have there's like a bunch of stuff to do. Right? And it seems like, based on most movies, there's not a lot of defense while you're performing the exorcism. Exorcism, to put it in an anime terms, is very much so like when you're going to do like a big, long magical incantation.
Yeah.
And then you got to have like other motherfuckers playing defense for you. Because you got to say the whole thing to fire the super fireball or whatever the fuck. But like while you're saying all the stuff, they're just going to shoot you in the knee with an arrow or some shit. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like an exorcism feels a lot like that. So it's like not temporally very efficient. And it would only work on bad guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I wonder like if you were just like a ghost with unfinished business, I don't think you can be exorcised.
Well, okay, so
right, like you got to be doing demon shit.
So we have to
because like if you're a ghost but you still love Jesus, exorcism's gonna be like power of Christ, and you're like, yeah, dog, he's gangster. I would also love to be there right now. So we kind of have I am trapped here.
We kind of have to split this actually into two pieces, right? Sure. Because you're talking about ghosts and exorcisms together, you're alternating, but an exorcism is something that is fairly specific, and a ghost is not.
Well, you can exorcise like a building.
Yes, but also no.
So, like, no in real life, but yes in only movies?
Yes in only movies, no in real life. So an exorcism is done when a person is possessed of an evil spirit.
Sure.
Or, like, a demon. Most of the time when you see a movie, it's like a demon. And they're like, it's the worst demon ever! And they're like, which demon? And they're like, yeah. And you're like, Belial. And you're like, okay. Yeah. Shillelagh over here.
Like, whatever the demon's
whatever that
Sometimes
is.
they go with, like, a Mephisto or, like a comic book named demon, and sometimes they're bringing out like the actual like biblical demons.
Well, and
like,
sometimes they're just using the name of deities from other pantheons, like Baal, Baal.
Yeah,
that's not.
He's not a demon.
He's not a demon. That's a deity
Power of Christ.
From a different
he's not compelling
pantheon.
That guy. Yeah, he's got other shit.
I mean, maybe it was like turned into a demon later on. I'm not like super up on
for like specifically. Baal,
I don't know.
A lot of demons probably. A lot of demon names, like old deities, that they're just like, well, secretly, this guy's working for the devil.
Yeah, because like
they're giving you, they're playing
like,
you.
The thing about it is like I think that you could technically exorcise like a building, but the criteria with which you need to qualify for the like Catholic Church to do the exorcism is, first of all, incredibly hard to reach.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I doubt that the priests are just firing those off all the time.
Somebody who really wants to do that, and also
it's not like you don't get that in like regular church class.
Yeah, you don't just like fill out a form.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, they're not teaching that at Sunday school.
Yeah,
exorcism for dummies.
And in order for a priest of the church to do that, not only is it harder to qualify for it, but it's also harder for them to prove that it has been finished, that the demon has been exorcised. Because first of all, the church is not going to leave that stone. Well, and
the church. He has to get special dispensation from the church to do it.
Yes.
Right?
So, and he has to
they're not just doing it free willy.
Yeah, and he has to prove to the church that he did the thing.
Sure,
by basically making sure that there's no demon. It's much easier to do that with a person than it is with a house, because maybe the ghost goes dormant, right? So we're talking about a demon in the idea of like an evil or malefic spirit.
Yeah.
Right? But like if you just had like a haunted house, like that's not necessarily going to qualify for an exorcism.
Yeah.
Because maybe that ghost is just like, you know, moving a cup 2 inches to the right.
So to the end of haunted houses, right? So let's transition through several other movies, right? So we've got okay, so exorcism, possessed by demon, bunch of church stuff, not easy to get done, right? Okay, so but then if we go back to the ghost house thing, I think you've got your wandering house ghost, so trapped on the property or within several feet of the exterior of the house, or sometimes can't get out the windows, like a Beetlejuice style, right? And then you've got your the ghost is attached to an item and just simply can't go a certain distance from that item,
or is trapped inside of the item,
whereon they're in the house, right?
Yeah.
So
haunted mirror.
The haunted mirror.
Yeah.
Haunted clock.
Haunted clock.
Yeah. Right. Whatever.
Haunted jewelry box.
Sure. Yeah. For sure. Or like there was that one where underneath the girl's bed, underneath the house, there was like a tchotchke. It was like a skull and some bones and some wood and some shit.
Yeah.
All put together and stuck underneath her bed, so that way the demon came up and messed with her or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
The point of that one was. But so in general, right, I feel like in most movies, the solution is break the fucking thing.
Yes.
Smash the thing, ghost is no longer our problem.
Yes.
Except for the mirrors one.
Yeah.
Because
that's actually more the department store than it is the actual mirror.
No. It's not the actual mirror. It's just mirrors. TM. And in fact, it isn't even mirrors, TM. It's all reflective surfaces. Because remember when the ghost takes the kid's mind over and then floods the upstairs, which is just such a bold strategy, because how is that water up there
it doesn't make sense.
But then the reflective surface of the water lets the ghost be able to do whatever he wants, right? Yeah. And in that one, they thought, go underneath the department store to the old psych ward, break the mirrors, free the ghost, break
the mirrors, free the ghost.
Free the ghost, right? Untether the ghost from this plane so the ghost doesn't fuck with us, right? Come to find out with that one, though, break the mirrors.
Unleash the ghost.
Well, it wasn't. The ghost
Remove
is...
the barriers.
The ghost is no more or less leashed than it was before. It still fucks with specifically reflective surfaces, right? But the dude who broke the mirrors got sucked into the mirror dimension.
Yeah.
Right? So, like in that instance, break the mirrors, it didn't do shit.
This is from the movie Mirrors, by the way.
Yeah, obviously. But good movie, by the by. But like, so in general, break the stuff solves the problem.
Not always. But in fact, I would say most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time in a movie, you have to solve the riddle, basically.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, it feels like solve the riddle, but really solving the riddle is to find exactly what the thing, they're like, this house is haunted, and they got to solve a bunch of clues, and they're like, actually, it's your grandfather clock. And somebody was like, let's office space this motherfucker. And then we're good to go.
Like, sometimes that works.
Right.
But sometimes that doesn't work.
Sure.
So, like, sometimes you have to solve a riddle for the ghost. So, like, a good example of this is a Kevin Bacon movie called Stir of Echoes, where there's, like, a girl who's haunting the house, and he has to solve the riddle of, like, what happened to the girl to essentially vindicate her soul, her body, and release her from this.
Yeah.
So theoretically, if the house was bulldozed and the riddle was never solved, like, I'm trying to do no spoilers for like a 20-year-old movie.
Sure. Just whatever.
And the murderers were never solved, like, you know, or the riddle was never solved, like, she would still be theoretically haunting that space, even though the house...
Haunting the lot?
Yeah, haunting the lot, or any buildings built on there, a la, you know, it's built on top of an Indian burial ground.
Like that kind of thing.
So you can't just necessarily always destroy the thing. However, to bring this into, like,
I think a great example of that is, like, a Native American burial ground, right? I mean, this is, like, Scooby-Doo tier shit here, where it's like, okay, that used to be like a sacred place, right? And then like a bunch of not from round here MFers show up and bulldoze it and put like whatever, a school or some shit over the top of it, right? And then like Scooby-Doo and the gang has to figure out why the fuck everything's getting squirrely Dan up here, right? Yeah. So clearly breaking it does not purchase it.
Yes.
It in fact just makes it like a larger issue and more difficult to solve the riddle on.
Yes.
Right? If you're a riddle-based ghost.
Yeah, not all ghosts are riddle-based ghosts.
Right, if you're just like an object-based ghost.
Yeah, now going back to the exorcism haunted house angle here, like, in real life, it would be very difficult for you to get the church, the Catholic Church, to come and exorcise a person or a house. Sure. So I was thinking about this recently. Actually, on my book. You just
pull a blade.
Because when we first moved into this house, it was haunted by a ghost that was malevolent towards us, and we had to get rid of that ghost. Yeah. So what we did not do was call the Catholic Church. I think you might be able to petition for their services, because weren't you baptized?
Yeah, I'm Catholic.
Okay, but I'm not.
Sure.
So I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, I also don't know. Like, do you send an email? I don't know how to do that.
Maybe there is a form.
Does the church have like a 911, but it's like
Ghost 11,
like,
you know,
Christ 11 or something?
I guess. I don't
What's
know.
C? 3? A? 1?
1, 2, A, B, C. So that would be 2.
Yeah, 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 211?
No, that's the info line.
Oh,
that's the one that you call for info. Maybe that's it. Maybe they. Maybe
if you call info and secretly the church is, it's one of those, like, you call it and then you're just like, Jesus, and they're like, the password is accepted. You know, it's one of those, you know, when you like go into like a restaurant and you like,
or like spit that drink out,
or you go to the butcher and you're just like, it's real sunny on Tuesdays, and the butcher's just like, the word is accepted, and then like opens up the secret freezer door for you to get to the murder club or whatever the fuck. Yeah. You know, like every movie has this elaborate system to hide shit.
Yeah,
you know?
It's pretty fun. But what we did was we researched different spells, and in particular, we looked at the lesser banishing ritual.
Yeah,
and performed that, and that did the trick.
Yeah.
For us, and that is something that like we didn't need to have the church for, and not all so basically not all spirits need to be gotten rid of by the Catholic Church. They're not like a skeleton key cure-all. In fact, there are several movies where you're not using the church for that.
Well, or where the church specifically is like, not, the church is like, everybody shut up. We've got this. And then the church does the thing, and then whoever the like young, there's always like a young priest and an old priest, and whoever the young priest is gets like folded into a pretzel and stuffed into a fucking cannon and blasted out a wall or something.
Yeah,
and the old priest is just like, I don't know. And they're like, all right, let's go talk to the old lady in the poor quarter of the town, because clearly men of the cloth, not the answer. Old lady with sticks in her hair, 100% the answer.
Yeah, and the best example that I can think of off the top of my head for this, as far as like movies go, is Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, for sure.
In Drag
the church
Me to
is
Hell,
useless in that
they're
one.
not really using the church, and they end up using.
That ends in a church, doesn't it? What? She's in a church at that ending part.
Oh
no. She's at the.
She's at the house.
She's at the house. I was thinking of the kid one. The one where the kid's a little Satan. That one ends with
that one does end with a church.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is.
There's another one where the church is useless. By the way.
But it is more common for people to seek out the church. But there are still examples in movies that basically mirror that, in that the whole world isn't operating off of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
As much as the Catholic Church would like that.
Well, it in fact seems less like, like if you're dealing with a Christian demon, you got to go to the Christian church, and if you're dealing with like a Jewish demon, you got to go to a synagogue, and if you're dealing with whatever demon, you got to go to a witch doctor person or a voodoo lady or like whatever. It seems more like
that seems very DMV. Go to this window to me, and that's not.
But it's also not even how it works in movies, because it appears that most of the time in a movie, if the like initial thing doesn't resolve the problem, it's either because they did a flub up, right? Somebody didn't listen to the rules, right? Or, whoever's doing the seance, exorcism, banishing ritual is like drunk or no longer has faith in Jesus, or
it was a bigger entity than they thought it was.
Or they need backup. Yeah. Right? It's like one guy and he's like, hey, it's too much. I need like a bunch of people.
Like they needed to cast a level 3 spell and they only cast a level 1 spell.
Yeah. Exactly. So like, I feel like, and to that end, right? Like real world interpretation of this stuff, from my perspective, like you don't need like, it's not, to me, right? It's not like this dude is solved by Christians and this dude is solved by the Jewish faith and this person is solved by hoodoo and this thing is solved by like Norse pantheon or Greek pantheon or any of those things. And it's more like whoever's doing the solving just has to have the courage, power, and internal faith to be able to be like, get the fuck out of here. And whatever the fuck is like not entirely corporeal is like, shit. And then gets out of there, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, from my perspective, I think that this is a function of like anything that's doing a possession or that's doing ghost stuff is not 100% like in phase, to use the sci-fi term, right? With this realm, untethered, to use the like a lot of times you hear that in movies and like he's not tethered to this realm yet or fucking whatever, right? Where it's like right now, if it's like a ghost occasionally knocking pictures off your wall, that ghost is not like fully corporeal, right? Now of course, if you like open your closet and your closet is an infinite set of stairs going downwards and a dude runs up in with a knife and kicks your closet door in and starts chasing you around the house, that dude's 100% here, okay? you no longer need a priest, you need a gun. Or like a hammer, or possibly both. The gammer, the greatest of the two combined, right? But, so like that's a separate issue. Like, like that one where they find that like portal in that kid's room into that like liminal space.
Poltergeist.
Is that the Poltergeist?
Yeah, but I don't think that there's. I think they're actually confusing two separate movies.
It's the one where they like literally like open up a thing and there's like stairs and they're like, what the hell is this? And I think it's like the dad goes down on or something.
It's been a long time.
Isn't that in the kids' room?
It's been a long time since I've seen Poltergeist.
I don't think it's Poltergeist.
That
I think I'm thinking of something
poltergeisty, but I know that there is a bathroom mirror that turns into like big long stairs downwards in the movie House.
Is it like a big mirror?
Well, it is once they go through it, but before they go through it, it's just like a standard above sink mirror in a bathroom.
Oh no, I'm not thinking of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I'm thinking of one where they like pull like the wall. They're like, hey, there's something gross on the wallpaper, and they like pull it back, and there's like a door, and they're like, what? Because like the other side of the kid's room is like the parents' room. There's no door there. And they open the door and there's like a big long thing. Because at the end when they solve it, whatever the thing is, they like run up through the door and they like slam the door and the door goes like bam! Like the
that
monster kicks it. And the wall shakes, but then the door's gone and like the wallpaper's repaired and there's no more like dark smudges everywhere and shit.
I feel like
you
there's
totally know what
somebody.
movie I'm talking about.
I feel like there's
somebody is ferocious in the comments about
somebody
this.
is ferociously screaming about this. Please comment. Tell us what this movie is.
Yeah, tell us what this movie is.
But
so
clearly
like,
we can't reach a consensus here.
Yeah, but so so like obviously real life thing in your house, right? Swamp monster in your house, not the issue here, right? But like if it's like a phantasm or a ghost or something a little bit looser, right? Something a little bit more ethereal in nature, then I feel like for the most part, both supported by movies and by like what appears to be the general practice, is like whatever the person is who's gonna solve the problem, as long as they've got the like, I'm in it. I got, whether if you're like a priest and you're like hardcore solving ghost problems, or like if you're like a shaman or like whatever, a rabbi. We saw that one where the rabbis were, it was like that rabbi solving ghost haunting based stuff that was fucking badass, right? Like badass rabbi shit. Like, so like as long as you're like true and faithful with it, you're gonna succeed because you just have like a greater anchor to this reality. Because like you're here, you're like a real ass dude.
Yeah.
Right? So like I don't gotta be afraid of no ghosts. We learned this in Ghostbusters, right? So you just gotta like do that shit. And to that end, right, I think that Ghostbusters and honestly a large number of other movies that like take haunting, spooky, ethereal, ghosty sort of shit like that and convert it into science. I feel like there's both the faith-based way to do it and the fucking radiation cannon, which is what they do in Ghostbusters.
Oh, yes.
It's like a big fucking plasma radiation cannon. Yeah.
Yes.
Ghostbusters, let me tell you, great movies. Everybody got radiation sickness.
Yeah, everybody.
Right?
All the
what do they talk about? They're like plutonium powered or something like that. I mean, I don't remember exactly what the line is, but
there is also somebody screaming about this because the Ghostbuster fan base very hype on Ghostbusters.
Yeah, no, I mean it's good. I'm not hating on Ghostbusters. I love those movies. The new ones are also shockingly good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where the new ones are still doing a banger. That like
Agreed.
Icy New York or whatever was fun. That was a fun movie.
Yeah, I don't know that faith is really the right word, but I think conviction.
Yeah. Well, that's what I don't mean. Like faith in a higher power. I mean like faith in yourself. Yeah. You gotta believe in the you that definitely believes that this ghost needs to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Right? Like, as long as you are like confident, right? I feel like the power to overcome ghosts is like 99% confidence. Ghosts are like backflips. It's 99% confidence, 1% skill.
Well, and that's basically what you see.
You know what I mean?
People that are doing like ghost hunter stuff do. They're doing that.
Oh, like the real world ghost hunter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and like, I feel like at the same time, it's not like if you don't believe in ghosts, the ghosts can't get you sort of a thing.
That's not how that works.
Right. It's definitely not how that works. But I certainly feel like if you have confidence that like that ghost isn't going to hurt you, often the people who are the most confident are the ones who are the least affected by the ghost. Yes. And the people who are the most scared of the ghost are the ones most grabbed and thrown around and such.
Yeah, I would say that's probably fair. Yeah. Right?
So, like, I think that it's really, again, it kind of all boils down to this, like, confidence, faith in the self, right? Yeah. Like as long as you believe you got it, then that ghost, it's out.
Well, basically, the idea behind banishing a ghost like that is like the stuff that we talk about for spells. So it's focused intention, it's clearing your mind, it's reaching the flow state, it's being specific and deliberate in the words that you are using.
If your ghost banishment is like
it's visualization
is a big ritual, then do a big ritual. If it's like you got to read these 5 pages and hopefully the ghost doesn't get you while you read those 5 pages, like
or if it's like at the bar, you turn the lights on, you're like, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Yeah. Like it can be as simple as that sort of a thing.
For sure. And then of course, okay, so like.
And also maybe you need to repeat it. Maybe it needs to happen more than once.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like, because maybe that ghost is like, I'm going to hide, wait for this motherfucker to get their guard down. Yeah. Do ghost stuff. Like that kind of a thing. Yeah. Or whatever. And, to the same end, I think that, like, as long as the ghost isn't being, like, poking you in the eye or something like that, then like, you know, you can always just come to a agreement with the ghost, and now you've just got a roommate who doesn't pay rent.
Yeah.
And
unless you find a way to monetize it.
And can't vacuum.
Maybe that's the ghost power.
Yeah. If you can give dishes the ghost, that would be great.
There is a cookie recipe that I have that I make all the time that are called murder cookies, and I found this on Reddit, and basically it's like a recipe from this person who was like a baker in this town. This person moved into this house, and they were looking at like a history of the house and found information about this stuff. But the ghost that resides in their house was a baker. And if I remember right, because it's been a while since I've read this. It's been a while
since you read this.
Since I first saw you, yeah.
Since you first saw this,
yeah. So, yeah.
We
anyway,
only just met. So it hasn't been a while,
obviously.
Yeah. Don't even know who this is.
So, like, this woman died under like suspicious circumstances, and it's thought that like a rival baker murdered her, and the ghost in the house like only messes around with like the measuring spoons and like flour. So like this person will like come out to the kitchen in the morning and like the measuring spoons are out, or like there will be like flour scattered on the counter or something like that. And they've just sort of been like, well, I'm gonna deal with this. This is pretty all right as far as ghost infestations go.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. If it's like a low key ghost, who cares?
Yeah.
Like whatever. That's just flavor, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hot sauce on the dish of your life.
Yeah.
Ghost stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benign ghost stuff.
Yeah, benign ghost stuff. So yeah, for sure. Also, another thing commonly used to fight ghosts in movies, salt.
Yes.
Right? So salt circle, protection.
Salt barrier. Protection.
Right? But if you're gonna put salt down, what's a common way that fails in movies?
Wind.
Or even more common than wind. Wind, not that common.
Literally just stepping over it.
Not over it. Knocking it with the foot.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to do salt barriers, make sure that everybody is aware of the salt barrier. And when old drags their feet Jefferson, or whoever the heck, decides it was just a random name, I don't know. Drags their feet, I'm sticking with it though. Drags their feet Jefferson over here, wants to drag his feet through the fucking door, call him on that shit. He's breaking the seal, letting the ghosts in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to do salt stuff, you got to let the ghosts in. Also, because salt works on ghosts, and salt works because salt is like a purifier.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why it works. The salt's like pure or whatever. If you're going to do salt, suggestion, they make a bug assault shotgun. It is a tiny plastic shotgun that uses a spring to fire a small amount of salt. It's used for like shooting flies out of the sky, or like spiders up in their cobwebs under the eaves of your porch.
If you live in an area that has bugs, you want one of these.
You want one of these?
Don't even know.
They're very cool. It's very cool.
We have
it's
ours
also
filled
very
with
effective.
several different grains of salt.
Yeah. Yeah, for that mix and max pack.
Yeah, we have table salt in there.
Yeah,
we have sea salt in there, and then we also have Epsom salt in there.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah,
we're playing 3 for 3.
Yeah.
But if you fill that up with salt, I'm just saying, great anti-ghost weapon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Follows the rules because salt gets them. Just the same, squirt gun full of holy water. We saw that in
that's in a ton of things.
Right. No. It's on BBC all the bloody time. The vampire one. Where the mom's boyfriend's the vampire.
Oh, Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like that's the best version of that scene, because like there is something fully happening in that full ass church, and 5 kids run in.
It's like a baptism.
Yeah, like run in camo and just like fill up super soakers or whatever. Yeah. Like brand name squirt guns, like in the thing, and then are just like, hey, thanks guys. And then like run out. And I want a movie.
They're like, peace be with you.
I want a movie that's like just this family organizing this baptism and getting everybody together, and they have this baptism, and it's interrupted by those kids, and it sort of shakes them a little bit, but then they go about the rest of their lives. Right? I want a movie that's just a completely normal slice of life movie, 5 seconds of fucking chaos. You know what I'm saying? For no reason. Just like that sort of shit. But like, so obviously, squirt gun full of holy water, but you got to get holy water. Also, does holy water expire? How long does it stay holy? Because I got some holy water from that well.
Oh, from that well
from that Mary well in France. That shit's still good.
Yeah.
It's good juice.
Yeah. I think that some of that has to kind of do with like the idea of like intention slipping away.
Well, or right? What do we get? We got Constantine, we got Blade, we got a couple. There's another one where like they just take a crucifix and they just like dunk that shit in water.
Yeah.
And that just makes it holy. Right now, Constantine, it's like a special crucifix.
It is, yes.
But in Blade, it's just a fucking cross, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
He's not a priest, not because it's the old dude, his like old dad.
Might be a priest.
Could he be a priest?
He might be a priest.
Oh, okay.
Because
what
Blade
if you're
has
an ordained minister? So, like, I went online and became an ordained minister to be able to marry people. Does that also give me the power to in holy water?
I think that the power to imbue holy into water
in holy.
No.
That is English. I'm sure about that. No. Somebody tell me if the act of imbuing with holiness can be shortened to in holy, which I'm like 99% certain that's how our language works.
Disagree.
Yeah.
Disagree. So I think the idea of you enchanting the water is again more intention than anything.
Sure.
I don't think your title matters.
Now, do you have to enchant it with specifically the power of fuck ghosts, or can you just enchant it with the power of whatever your power is?
See,
can I go over to some water and give it the old Nomina Patru Jonathan edition? Just enchant that shit with a little bit of my juice.
Yeah.
Spirit juice.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't like that either.
No. Yeah, it's not better.
You're not doing that, no.
I give it the old power of this guy. And then all of a sudden it can fight ghosts? Because I don't think so.
I feel like if you're enchanting something, you're enchanting for intention, and holy water is sort of like, you know when you see that meme online that's if you don't have another crystal as a witch, you can use clear quartz. Like, I think that it's like that. I think that holy water is
like universal.
Is like enchanted to be like an all-purpose kind of situation. But you could enchant it to be specifically like fuck that one specific ghost.
Yeah, sure.
But why would you do that? Like, then you would need to have so many different holy waters. Like, if you had to be like, fuck Jeff specifically. Yeah. Jeff the Ghost.
Jeff the Ghost. Fuck this guy. This is a 2-liter bottle of fuck Jeff the Ghost holy water.
Yeah, like, is that every Jeff? Is it just that specific Jeff?
For sure,
so if you did that, I think that you would have to enchant that water so that it's a bit more multi-purpose. Because like priests are using holy water for more than just exorcisms.
For sure. They're using it mostly for not exorcisms.
Yeah, so
that's like the least likely thing.
They're like sprinkling on you. They're like giving it a baptism. I'm not really sure what else they do besides those two things, but I imagine that there are multiple
they're not
things.
You apply it to you.
Oh yeah, but
you walk into the church,
flick that on you. I've definitely seen that in a movie where a priest is like holy watered.
Yeah, I mean
pocket water.
Like kinda. So like when you're obviously up to some demonly shit, they're gonna pocket water you.
Yeah, pocket water. So that is a use.
Right, so, but that's exorcism adjacent. You're doing a spooky thing. They're gonna pocket water you to see if you sizzle.
What if you're a particularly like grubby child? They're like pocket water, clean yourself up.
No. They're definitely not gonna do that. Right? Also, if you're a particularly grubby child and you're going into church, an auntie's going to pull you out that church, hose you off in the fucking parking lot or something. Yeah, we ain't getting no grubby kids in this fucking church. Ain't no aunties allowed. They're going to get like so many baby wipes and just like rub your face until it's
they're probably going to like spit.
Oh, they could. Well, I mean, it depends on how grubby. But, so you do the crossing, dip and cross.
Yeah.
Right? What we're going to call it from now on. And there's probably a term for it. And like on Palm,
not a better one than dip and cross.
I know. On Palm Sunday, they get like a good sized bowl or dish of it, holy water, and they like dip a palm
leaf
frond,
yeah,
palm frond in it, and they sort of do one of these and kind of get everybody in the church getting holy.
Yeah.
Right? So there's the like Palm Sunday, everybody in the church getting holy. Yeah, that's it. Because like Ash Wednesday, you get ashes, which ain't water. And like if you're taking blood and body of Christ, what's that called? The Eucharist, I think maybe. If you're doing that, that's obviously not water. That's like a flat cracker.
That's like fake blood and fake flesh.
Yeah, it's like a flat cracker and
grape
red
juice
wine.
Or wine. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's different entirely.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it seems like they're
but
not
also,
really doing a whole lot of water for the holy.
Does the Eucharist? Is it like
Does that count as holy water?
Not only does it count.
Are you talking about dashing a glass of wine on a ghost?
No.
Or frisbee throwing crackers at a demon?
No, not at all. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying if you take it. I'm not saying like will this shit fight a ghost, or like if you take it, is it gonna expunge a ghost? Right? Because if you're all possessed up, you go into a church, you start sizzling.
Yeah.
Because you're on hallowed ground, right? Yeah. Hallowed ground, you start a sizzle.
Yeah.
Right? So that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that if you
like a juicy slice of bacon.
Yeah. So, but if you're taking a once a Sunday, so Catholics do it every Sunday. It's my understanding that Christians do it once a month, I think. But like, so like if you're Catholic and you're doing the Eucharist once a week, is that sort of like getting your shot updates? Like, are you just like...
That is a spiritual vaccine booster.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, are you automatically inhospitable to ghosts? These are the questions I want answered.
Well, I mean...
Because you got the power of Christ all up in you. You just did that shit on Sunday, dog. What has it been? 6 fucking days?
Maybe. And I imagine that, if you've just been baptized, you probably have extra
yeah, but you're not getting baptism frequently. You get baptism once when you're like a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got first communion when you're like a preteen, and then when you're like a teenager, you got the thing where you do it. Whatever
what
that's
is
called.
the half-life of
a Eucharist?
Yeah,
what's the Eucharist half-life? Right?
Yeah, because if you're renewing it once a week, are you building that up?
Well, it can't be. It can't be a week. Hold on.
Rollover time?
It can't be a week because if some people are doing it once a month.
Yeah.
Right? You got to think that once a month is enough. It's good. Yeah.
So if they're doing it once a week.
Therefore, once a week, you're just doubling down. You're just taking fat boosters.
Or are they using essentially rollover
minutes?
Eucharist powers?
Well, but even rollover minutes, they have a maximum. You can't roll over forever.
Fair.
It's like vacation at your work. You can only carry so many on the books.
Fair. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
these are the real questions.
Things to think about. Also, technically, if you have a steel slug in a gun as opposed to a lead slug in a gun, like a steel bullet instead of a lead bullet, because steel is made with iron.
Yeah.
Or like an iron ball for a cap and ball gun.
Mm-hmm.
That shit would also kill ghosts.
So
what I'm saying is pirates could kill ghosts. Probably. A cannon for fucking sure could, because that cannonball ain't made of lead.
Well, I need you to explain to me some things about the Pirates of the Caribbean mythos then. Because I am pretty sure that somebody has hit that ship with a cannon and it has been fine.
I mean, except for the parts that got hit. Except for the parts that got hit that were fucked up. Like swords and guns and shit still work on those ghosts. But those are also not ghosts. Those are corporeal entities, bruv.
Yeah, they're kind of in the middle.
Yeah, only what's his name's dad is kind of in the middle.
Are you trying to say that if they made
because you can grab that motherfucker by his tentacle ass face,
cannonball made of copper,
so
no iron, that it would bounce off?
Yeah, pass right through.
It would pass right through.
It wouldn't affect the ghosts. Because ghosts are affected by, as we know, holy stuff.
Yeah.
Salt.
Yeah.
Iron.
Yeah. But iron not always.
I don't know what you mean by iron not always. Iron always.
I mean, I guess I feel like that isn't brought up as often.
Well, that's just because we're not hanging horseshoes over our doors no more.
Fair.
Right? But if you watch any, like, old country movie, or, like, a lot of, like, the spooky stuff coming out of, like, Europe and shit, right? The iron over the door has an effect. Right?
Fair.
Or the, like, horseshoe at the barn or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Also, if your horse is shod with old-style iron horseshoes, as opposed to... No, the whole fucking horseshoe is made of iron.
Yeah, I was saying, well, what about the nails? Would the nails also be made of iron? Would the horseshoe nail?
I mean, the horseshoe nail would work. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that if you have a traditionally shod horse, right? You had a farrier come out with a forge and like shoe your horse, as opposed to the like modern poly shoes, right? If you had like a traditionally ironed horse, you could technically run a ghost, demon, or spirit down and just trample them with your fucking horse.
Oh, now we're talking.
Right? Which means that cowboys can also kill ghosts.
Cowboys and pirates, yes. Yeah.
So, I'm just saying, guys. These are movie ideas that you're not making.
Well, I mean, the whole Pirates of the Caribbean thing exists.
Yeah, but the ghosts were kind of the best people in that.
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair. I saw a Hear Me Out cake reel today, and one of the people was like, who's the tentacle guy from Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh my god, Captain Tentacle Face. I have no fucking clue what his
Captain
name is,
Tentacle
dude.
Face. They were like, Hear Me Out, Captain Tentacle Face.
The only name from that movie I know is Captain Jack Sparrow. That is the only name from those movies. And I've seen all of them. They're good movies. I'm not at all hating on these movies. The only name I remember is that. And honestly, that's mostly because of that Lonely Island song.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah. So that's not great evidence about that.
No,
specifically.
it's not. But it works.
But it works, yeah. So I mean, I feel like movies get about 3/4 of the way there with regard to dealing with ghosts.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, I know we're saying like ghosts, phantasm, demons, and other stuff, but we kind of were starting originally with like mostly just ghosts.
Yeah, or demons. I mean, the thing is, it's spirits. It's a catch-all.
Yeah,
like, you really want to go between like spirit and phantasm and demon and deity.
And I mean, like, they all have
that's a lot of work.
They all have different rules, but like that's also one of those things where like
we're basically talking.
It depends on the specific
rules, so
thing.
you don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, and sometimes they don't define it.
Yes.
Neither. Sometimes it's just like, she's possessed. I'm like, possessed with what? And you're like, I don't know. Just some shit's up in there, dog. Get it out. Damn. You know?
Yeah.
So.
You're like, I didn't take a class in demonology. You tell me.
Yeah, right? Read a fucking book. Damn. So, yeah, I feel like in general, I
go get your mesket.
Yeah, go get your mesket. I don't think that we should. I don't think that we can 100% learn how to fight ghosts through horror movies. No. But I think that horror movies are a good 30,000 foot look at how to deal with ghost stuff. Also, the most important lesson to learn from horror movies, and we're going to end this podcast with this lesson from horror movies. If you're in a situation where there are ghosts doing ghost shit, or whatever you want to call them, doing shit in a house, the most important takeaway you can learn from horror movies is fucking get out of the house. Not the 10th time, the first.
Yeah.
Fucking
you get
time.
out. You get out fast, and you
go
get
to
out
a hotel.
Far.
You go to a hotel. Now you can do some internet research. Now you can figure out what you're going to do. Hey, I heard this movie's haunted. Cool. Don't put it on. Hey, when you play this record backwards, you get demons. Don't do that. What are you doing? Just the same, if you go into a basement or into a spooky location and there is a book there, I cannot stress this enough. Do not read from the book. The book, it's not for reading. You leave that to scientists. They must have protections in there. I assume labs just got a bunch of shit hidden.
Generally, no, because usually a very learned person had this book, and the book was their downfall. Don't read from the book. Yeah, just
don't read from the book, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know what's in that book, don't read from that book.
Burn it if you can.
Yeah, unless that's going to release the ghosts.
Put it into a crate and throw it into an ocean.
Yeah, but responsibly. Encase it in cement, so that way it can become a reef.
There you go.
Right? Reef those demon books, guys.
Yeah.
We need more reeves, and we need less demon books.
Yeah, push that thing forward into the future.
Yeah.
Let a future archaeologist deal with that.
Yeah. By then we'll have space stuff, and we got like other space-based ghosts to deal with, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah. So this is a brief summary and like kind of meta-analysis of what we learn from horror movies and how that applies to real life with regard to dealing with ghosts and other spooky accoutrement.
Yeah.
Right? I think that this is probably worth further explanation. I would love to have conversations in the comments about this. What do you think? We weren't overly specific about the movies just because we were trying to like 30,000 foot this. If there is a specific ghost haunting whatever horror movie that you would like us to like do a review of, both regular review and / or magic in media review, like hit us up, let us know, we will do that. I think that that's a good framework for dealing with ghosts, and I feel like that's a fun topic for the season of spooky.
Yes,
right,
I agree.
So either way, I've been John Norgrove. This has been Julie Norgrove. This has been the Horn
and Cauldron
podcast Pub Chat edition, because I've ran out of drink. And that was ghosts, or was it? That's for you to decide. Whatever. Stay magical and gently less haunted out there.
Yeah, and don't forget, breathe in self-confidence and breathe out self-doubt.